everybody, welcome back. Today I thought that we would do a video on budgets. I don't know if y'all know, but we are a single income family. Well, I say single income family. I do a little bit of babysitting for a little bit of a supplemental income, but it's really not much. Really, we kind of depend on John's income for our family. So he worked for the police department, and so he makes okay money. So I thought that I would share with you how we, just 5 or 6 basic tips for how we do our budget, how we live on basically the one income with the tiny supplemental income on the side. First, I want to say pay your bills first. That's how I have always done it. Know your pay schedule. For the police department, it's every other week. So what I've done is I pay all of the bills immediately. Nothing else happens until the bills are paid. I don't buy groceries. I don't plan anything. We do nothing until those bills are paid. But I know your bills and know your pay cycle. So what I do is I keep our big bills separate. Most of the time when you buy your house, you can pick whether you want your mortgage payment to be at the beginning of the month or at the middle of the month or the end or whenever you want it. So I normally try to balance the mortgage opposite of maybe the car payment or however you do it. I try to balance all of my bills to be paid on those 2 pay periods a month. So the first pay period might be the mortgage and the electricity bill. The other one might be our car payments, our internet, or any other bills, any other supplemental bills that we have would go on the other one. So they would be paid on opposite pay periods. So that way your budget is balanced. You don't have 1 week where you have plenty and 1 week where you're really kind of stringing tight for, bills and things like that. So know your budget and really just kind of try to balance out your bills. Now, I do have to pay my electricity bill probably 2 weeks in advance, and sometimes I have to guess. Sometimes I have to pay it before it actually comes in, and I have to guess. But I know my electricity bill well enough that I can do that. And if I'm wrong, it's not normally wrong much, and I can make it up on the next, whenever the next pay period comes. But sometimes you have to do that, like I know that I can't leave all my bills for the next pay period cycle, So there are times when I've had to work that little budget a little bit and pay things before they're due, but I'd rather pay them before they're due than after they're due. I guess kind of going along the same lines as paying your bills first and letting that be the first thing that you do would be taking care of your credit. And I don't just mean your husband's credit or whoever is the working person. That's important. They need to take care of their credit, but so do you. In our house, Russell's credit is reserved for the mortgage, the car payment, and that's it. He doesn't use his credit for anything else. Anytime they need to run credit for an electricity bill or, when we got our gas turned on in this house, all of that is through me. Every credit card that we have that we use is through me. That's why it's important for me to have good credit, because I want to be able to have a credit card that we can have a large enough limit on that if something really happened or went wrong, we could put it on there. I would say probably a month and a half ago, we needed a new air conditioner unit. And we didn't have the money for that just lying around, but because my credit was right and because I had a credit card that was empty, but large enough to handle that, we were able to go ahead and get that new air conditioning unit. So it's just as important for the stay-at-home person to have good credit as it is for the person who's working, whether it's the husband and the wife, wife, husband, whoever stays home, whoever works. It's crucial for both of you to have good credit, which is why it's crucial to pay your bills first and then budget your money second. I fully believe that if you do things the right way, things always work out. I have been doing my budget this way for a long time, and I have never missed a payment, but I've also never missed a meal. Our kids don't go without, necessities ever. We might have to go without going to the movies, but we've never been without necessities. I would say, I would watch out for the third thing I would say is cut where you can. I really, truly try to cut in places where you would, where you can be creative, I guess is what I'm saying. Like I have two boys and my husband. So haircuts were getting very expensive. I mean, you're talking $12 a haircut in the summertime when their hair grows like weeds. That could be, every other week. You're talking $36 to $45 every other week just in haircuts alone. So I had to learn how to cut hair. Watched a couple YouTube videos on it, or, however you need to learn. I have a video before this one. If you're a subscriber, then you know that, I cut hair. It's not perfect, but the more you do it, the better you get. So I cut their hair. My husband and I cut mine. It is what it is. I mean, when you do your hair, sometimes, it's a sacrifice that you have to make. We also go to, like, if we wanted to go out, you have to be creative in going out. Like, we have the 3 kids and they love to go out and do stuff. So we need to find things that we can do that are cheap. They like going to the movies, but going to a regular movie theater could cost us anywhere from $60 to $80 going to the regular movie theater, when you talk about popcorn and drinks and movie tickets and all that other stuff. So we have a cheap theater. It's not exactly promoted around anywhere. You won't see it in advertisements or anything. You have to find it. But movies are between $1.50 and $2, depending on the movie or the time or whatever. So our entire family can go to the movies for $20, popcorn, drinks, the whole 9 yards. So finding the little hidden things to do in the city that are cheap is what you need to do. And you can find them in small towns too. We live in a bit of a larger city, but I know for a fact when I lived in a small town in Michigan, you could go to the ski resort, and there were days and things that locals could do at the ski resort that tourists never knew about, but that were cheap for the locals to do, because not all the locals could afford to go skiing. So really learning and trying to figure out where these things are and asking around. Ask people, hey, what do you do? Where do you go and find stuff? That's kind of how you find out what's going on and where these things are, and how to take advantage of them, because they're not necessarily promoted. Sometimes you just have to be sneaky and find them. The fourth thing is groceries are huge. One of the biggest things in your budget is going to be food, especially when you start talking about a lot of kids, or I have a teenager who will eat me out of house and home if I let him. So groceries is a huge thing in our budget. Learning where to shop. You have to learn where to go to get what. Walmart in our town, we probably have 15 of them between the big Walmarts and the little Walmarts, but every Walmart has a different price. You would think Walmart's Walmart, but it's not. We went to a Walmart probably 5 miles from here, and milk was almost $3 a gallon. We go to the Walmart up the street here, and it's $1.95. Really knowing where to shop. We have an Aldi's, which was always cheaper in produce, and has, if you are a health nut or anything like that, they always have baked chips for a reduced price. They don't have everything, so you won't be able to get everything there. But know where to shop. Look around. Make sure that you're paying attention to what's the price where. And know that not every Food Lion is the same price. Not every Walmart is the same price, not even in the same town. Not even 50 feet from each other. We have a Walmart that is probably 1.5 miles away from each other, and they're not always the same price. Most of the time, I will say there's staple foods. If it's $1.95 for milk at this Walmart and $2.95 for milk at the other Walmart, those prices stay pretty consistent. They don't fluctuate a whole lot. It's always gonna be $1.95 here and almost always gonna be $2.95 over there. So you can pretty much guarantee that if you go to this Walmart, then you go to this Walmart, and then go to Aldi's or whatever. It does take a little bit more time, but learning how to do it, I know that I can make a nice little circle around, and it's probably a 7-mile circle. I go to the little Walmart, big Walmart, Aldi's, and home. And then I have all the things that I need, and just learning how to grocery shop your area and paying attention to prices. And you think in your mind that Walmart's the same everywhere, but I can promise you this, it's not. And if you pay attention, you'll learn that it's not as well. So then I would say the last thing that I would suggest is finding something, like the stay-home person, finding something that they can do. for fun money. Really, all of our money that we earn, Russell earns, goes to our bills. So I found a way just to make a little bit of money. I could make a whole lot more if I turn my house into a daycare, which I don't want to do. I don't want to take away from being home with my kids. The whole point of me staying home was I wanted to spend time with my kids. I wanted to raise them. I wanted to do homeschooling. I wanted to focus on them. I wanted to raise them. I did not want somebody else to raise them. So I don't want to turn my home into, where I can't pay attention to them and I can't fulfill the mission that I set out to do. So I do have some kids that I babysit. One is full-time, but I'm not gonna lie, I love my little guy that I watch full-time. But I try to have one full-time, and I have another family that is hit and miss, and I love it. They might come this month, they might not. They might come this week, maybe not next week. And, and I love it. And it's the extra money. And what I do with that extra money is my daughter's piano lessons. She gets piano lessons out of that money. That's kind of why I have the one consistent one. The one steady one always pays for Savannah's piano and for Austin's tutoring. So I know every week that I'm gonna have the money to pay for those two things. Those two things are totally extras. They are not necessary. They're not necessities. I do not want them coming out of our budget. I don't want John paying for them. So those are things that I want them to have, that I feel that they need. Looking at, what Austin's doing in college, I can't help him with trigonometry anymore. It's just too much. It's too far for me. I'm not gonna lie. Math was never my strong suit, but I got him all the way to trigonometry now. Somebody else needs to take the ball from here. So that's what I've done. I have taken this small little part-time-ish job, and I use that money to further my kids. So those are my 6 tips for setting a budget, setting limits, kind of how we do things, and I'm kind of hoping that'll help you out when you're starting your budget. So see you next time.